In this week's episode, vehicles from Renault, Hyundai and Toyota come under the spotlight.
We find a suitable replacement bakkie for a 2007 Tata Telcoline.
And we explore dual clutch transmissions from BMW, Audi and Mercedes-Benz.
Hello and welcome to Buyer's Guide. We'll be tackling a fresh batch of your vehicle-related questions and queries once again. And here to help us this week, Alan Rosenmeyer from Motor Matters and Mike Bradshaw from Top Gear Auto. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thanks for joining us today. Welcome back. Remember, if you like the panel's advice, you can send us an email to buyersguide@ignitiontv.co.za. Or you can just pop us a DM on Instagram @ignitiontv. And please give us as much information as possible, including a picture of yourself. Now we're going to kick off things with a question from 25-year-old Mashal. He's saving 15 to 18,000 Rand for a deposit and has a monthly budget of 3,500 Rand, including insurance. He wants a reliable car with an aux and USB connectivity, and he's considering the Renault Sandero, Hyundai i20 and a Toyota Yaris. He's not open to VWs or a Kia Picanto. Alan, let's start with you.
Yeah.
He's got three fairly popular cars there.
He's got three very popular cars. The USB connectivity obviously is a big question mark there.
Yeah.
As to whether all of them will have that.
I think they do, if memory serves me correct.
The Renault Sandero I sort of took out on the basis parts, things like that. It's discontinued a long time ago, things like that.
An expensive car to maintain as well.
Just as options, I was looking at, there's nothing wrong with the i20 or the Yaris. Yaris, I think, you're going to get a pretty old one at his budget.
Yeah.
So looking at maybe a newer car would be Hyundai i10 or Grand i10, or what about a Toyota Etios?
Yeah.
Would fit nicely into his budget, and you can get good ones at slightly more. I looked slightly higher, but at about 130 odd thousand Rand, you can get a 2017, 2018 model on those two for that kind of budget.
Well, let's ask the dealer, Mike. If I walked into your dealership and I said, I got 120 grand and I want a car with a USB, I don't care what it is. What are you going to give me?
I don't have anything at the moment.
They're difficult to find, aren't they?
They are difficult to find, but you can find them. I would actually go for a Honda Ballard.
Yeah, if you can find one. Yeah.
You can.
Yeah.
You just often patience is a good thing.
What about a Jazz? I mean, you mentioned Honda.
Honda Jazz.
I know Jazz is unpopular with youngsters, but honestly, I mean, I know I've said this many times on the show. That's the kind of car you've got to be looking at because it's light on fuel, but ultra reliable, don't get stolen.
Put a set of mags on.
Jazz is yeah, it's actually not bad. It's a great car.
It's a lovely car. I'd buy a Jazz before I buy
Honda Ballard, Honda Jazz, those are.
But will you get them at the 120 or
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I've actually got one for sale now. You want it? Phone me. Yeah, but you will. You'll pick them up in that sort of region. And you can get like a 2010, 2014 model in that sort of region. You can get, I mean, they're available in 1.4, 1.5.
You know, for first car, I wouldn't put him in a Toyota. Because if he'll have his first car, then he won't have his first car.
Yeah, that's a high risk. I mean, especially the
very high risk car. I wouldn't put him in a Polo or anything like that either.
You must also remember auxiliary and USB points. If the car doesn't have it, it doesn't matter.
You can always have one.
You take the radio out for
put in your radio.
1,500 Rand. You get yourself Bluetooth,
auxiliary points, USB, whatever you want.
Oh, that's great advice. You can upgrade most cars nowadays to even Apple Car. Is it Apple and
Android?
Android.
Everybody's saying,
yeah.
Who's that? It's Apple, Android. Android or Apple. Okay, we're going to move on.
Okay, our next viewer is Nikiwe. She's shopping for a first car with a budget of 320 to 450,000 Rand and prefers a reliable crossover for a daily Pretoria to Johannesburg run. She's considering the Toyota Starlet Cross, Kia Sonet, and VW T-Cross. She seeks a durable car from a tried and tested brand that can last around 10 years. She's not open to Chinese vehicles. So all those brands you were thinking about, Alan, they're done.
Well, you should be.
I read that carefully.
But anyway.
No, she should be. I agree with that. She should be. But, you know, tried and tested.
Yeah.
No, some people aren't interested. They want something.
Correct.
What do you think, Alan?
Okay. The one that really jumps out to me, and I'm not saying the choices she's put here are bad, but if she wants an option, Mazda CX-3.
Yes.
Yes.
Got the 2-litre engine. You're getting great deals on them at the moment. Forget retail prices. I mean, I found an Active Auto brand new for 430, just for example. Dynamic Auto, you can get with 10,000 Ks for 370.
And that won't last 10 years, though. It'll last about 50.
Correct, yeah. So, yeah, that 10-year thing, really, I don't know. Quite honestly, I didn't look much further than that because I think you're looking at the sort of premium in that kind of category. As I say, nothing wrong with the Kia or the T-Cross. They're great cars, but the T-Cross is out of her budget, actually. They start at 460 odd.
My problem with the T-Cross is that as they get older in life, their maintenance costs are expensive. Any of those VW products. Mark, your input here.
Corolla Cross.
Corolla Cross.
I like a Corolla Cross.
Yeah, it's also a very, very good option. And
Nice
450, you're
engine.
going to find something.
Perfect.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe a Honda.
so the Honda Elevate
Yeah.
is something to look at as well, which is also very good.
But the Toyota Corolla Cross, for me, value for money is amazing.
Yeah.
And it's got a nice punchy engine. It's not too underpowered.
And if you wanted something that's really fuel efficient, you go for something like the hybrid version. Where you
I
can
would
get-
only go the hybrid if I was going Corolla Cross personally.
So that's another one that she hasn't thrown in there. I mean, the Toyota Starlet Cross is basically a Suzuki Franx,
Correct.
which is
Yeah.
a great car. So, I mean, every car that has been mentioned here, you mentioned the CX-3, great car. You mentioned the Corolla Cross, which is not on her list, fantastic car. Kia Sonet, they're all great cars. The one I would leave out would be the T-Cross. I think it's a nice car to drive, and it's a well-built car, but longevity compared to the others, I think the others would give you that 10 years trouble-free motor.
I like, as much as I don't like Alan personally, but I like his
CX-3.
CX-3.
Thanks, Eggy.
I like his CX-3.
Okay.
I like his CX-3.
So
So I'll just bring it out there.
Leave now.
Stay tuned, because after the break, we find a suitable replacement bakkie for a Tata Telcoline.
And we compare SUVs from Kia, Mazda, Suzuki, and Toyota. You're watching Buyer's Guide, and if you just joined us, welcome to this week's show. Lungelo, age 29, owns a 2007 Tata Telcoline gifted to him by his late grandfather, but the engine is damaged. While the vehicle has sentimental value, sourcing parts is challenging due to the rarity of the Tata brand. With a budget of 200,000 Rand, Lungelo is considering whether to repair the Tata or opt for a more reliable and practical alternative. You want to start this one?
Don't fix it. Don't fix it. Mike, 200,000 Rand, unfortunately, don't buy you a lot of bakkie anymore, does it?
It doesn't, but on the Tata, it's time to put it out to pasture.
To pasture
It's
now, yes.
time.
Or just
I
keep
think-
it because his grandfather gifted to him.
You can
You
make
know.
a very expensive chicken coop.
Coop or
That's-
something,
yeah.
yeah.
Put
Flower
flowers
box.
in the flower box.
Make the buck into a
No.
rose garden or something.
You're just going to be wasting money, so don't even bother with it. 200 grand. Do you find bakkies for 200,000 Rand?
You know what, you can, and it's a minefield.
Yeah.
Okay, because if you do have a look, you're going to see a lot of these bakkies, the Isuzus, which is top of. I would go for the Isuzu KB250. They just go on
Yes.
and on and on. The problem with that price range is you're going to find them with 80,000 and 120,000 kilometers with no full service history.
Why?
Well, exactly.
A nice low mileage
Thank
bakkie
you.
for that price?
Correct. So it is a bit of a minefield. It's something to bear in mind. And,
Yeah.
and look, I would rather go for the one that's got high mileage, and you know, which are very good, is the guys that do windscreen replacement.
Yeah.
They've got high mileage, but they've carried windscreens. They
I was
Yes.
saying,
Are
yes.
you- are you-
are you
I'm
with
with
me?
you, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and so that would fit in nicely between the 150 and 170 mark.
I think you make a very important point there. Rather go for something that's higher mileage, that you can believe the mileage, than something that's. I mean, I've had vehicles coming to me as well. Hilux bakkie. The thing looks like it's been rolled down, down a mine shaft. And the guy said, I got a great deal. I paid 250,000 Rand for it. It's only got 60,000 kilometers on it. But you can see it's an absolute wreck. There's no way it's done.
Got to be very careful.
Somebody
And you
took
must
the
remember-
5 in front away.
You must remember that this is the playing field that I'm in, so you
Yeah.
stop it. I play in the Suarette. I mean, I run with these guys, and so if it sounds too good to be true, the mileage,
Yeah.
it generally is. But there are telltale signs, the wear on the steering wheel, the wear on the
Pedals.
the seats,
seats.
all of those.
The
sort of-
door handles.
Why aren't the seats the original covered material? Alan, what do you think?
No, look, I mean, there's no discussion on getting rid of the Tata.
Yeah.
Isuzu's a great option.
Yeah.
I also just put the GWM Steed again.
It's actually
Yes,
not a
that's
bad
not a bad option as
One
well.
of the
You'll
few
get
ones
a
that-
much
Yes.
newer one than
Yes.
an Isuzu.
But even the original, like you said,
Yeah.
Steed's been out here for many years. So even if you get one that had that petrol engine in that Toyota 4Y engine, the thing with that though is if the engine goes clonk, you can go to most spare shops, they got them on the floor. They had 10, 15.
Brand new engine standing on the floor, 15 grand max.
Engine exchange.
They make them in China, they ship them out here, they're 10, 15,000, 20 grand,
And
whatever.
it's a plug and play kind of
Bang
thing.
it, move on.
Everything's on the engine.
Or there's, you remember British Leyland back in the day?
Yes.
So now in South Africa, I see Ashok Leyland is here.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And they've got a 1.2 ton offering with a great warranty, brand new out the box for 169,000 rand and a decent load back.
That's
That's like the H1, like the Hyundai.
Slightly smaller than the
H100.
H1 and the K27.
And the K27,
yes. Yeah. But brand new with a 3-year, 100,000 kilometer.
For 170k.
Well, there you go.
69 grand.
What is
brand
that?
That's
That
an-
again?
Ashok Leyland. So if
Ashok
of my generation, Leyland Mini,
Yes.
Leyland buses.
Yes.
Yeah, you remember? Leyland was the,
Yes,
the
Leyland was-
Defender.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well worth a look at. I mean,
Well, that's an excellent option,
In the
man.
same category, there's also the DFSK one.
yeah,
the
that's
bakkie as well, which is very similar, I hope I'm allowed to say, to the Suzuki.
yeah.
And that's about 180 as well, brand new with
Well,
warranty.
there you go. This is why we bring our experts in because they can give us
Yes.
great advice on these cars that are
Yeah,
running
I'm gonna
around.
look at
Go
that
and have a look
Ashok
at them
Leyland.
because it's well worth looking in that sort of price range, something brand new. Okay, we're going to be moving on now. Chris is from Limpopo. He wants to replace his 2011 Tiguan 1.4 TSI with a reliable manual SUV. He needs a car with enough power for long trips, good gravel road capability, and practicality. His shortlist includes the Suzuki Grand Vitara, the Toyota Urban Cruiser, Kia Seltos, Kia Sonet, Mazda CX-3, and the Honda Elevate. He's open to better suggestions and would appreciate guidance on the top two choices. Alan, I'm going to jump back to you now.
Right.
He's given us a whole bunch of really good cars. You must probably going to say Mazda CX-3.
Because of his the power, him being
2 litre,
worried
yeah.
about underpowered.
Yeah.
The 2 litre in the Mazda, 121 kilowatts, is way more than any of the other options he's listed. And I'm going there because of that factor.
And it's a bulletproof car.
And the second thing is the Mazda, not that any of them are not good, but a Tiguan is quite a premium car. The Mazda, I would say, comes closest to the sort of premium feel
You know,
on that list here.
you guys have been saying premium, Tiguan premium and all that. The reason they premium, it just costs all that much more to repair. Because I've not seen a CX-3 come into my workshop other than a service and brakes.
We hate them. We never make
Well,
money.
we never make money. Whereas a Tiguan, when I'm done with the DSG gearbox, I can think of my trip in 2027 to Anfield. You know?
Mike, what do you think about these options we've given you?
No, I think they're great. Alan loves, I can see he loves the Mazda.
It's hard not to.
It's hard not to like that car,
Only
man.
Very
only
little.
gripe is a bit small.
Yeah. But I'm going to go back to the Corolla Cross.
Yes.
I've fallen in love with those cars.
But like, once again, Mike, you can only fall in love them when they're there in your hands, Once they leave you,
Okay, so I'll tell you what, I'll tell you from my perspective, Mazda currently for me.
Yeah.
I battle to sell a used Mazda. Whereas I can sell a Grand Vitara a lot easier and a Corolla Cross.
Corolla faster.
So that doesn't mean to say that there's something wrong with the Mazda.
No.
So we've had Mazdas on our floor. I get a price from Mazda. They want to buy the vehicle from me. And then I get a price of, I'm going to use this example, 300,000. I'm battling to get 309.
It's crazy.
Can't get them.
Good cars. People
You know what
wake up.
Okay, but you know what they're buying? They're buying brand new cherries in that price range.
Okay.
Yeah.
But a Grand Vitara, there's more
Ready
people
to-
they want to buy, and the Corolla Cross.
Yeah.
So if
So
it
from
was
your
me,
perspective,
from a sewer rat perspective, what I'm going to try and sell to the public, nothing wrong with the Mazda CX-3, magnificent car, but it's just a lot easier when I'm up against Chinese competitors that I don't have on my floor.
You need to be price competitive.
Thank you.
Yeah. There we go. So you've got a bunch of cars that are very good. I think you wanted two. I would agree with Alan and go with a Mazda CX-3. If that's too small for you, then Mike has got, we're going to mention three. The Vitara, which is a really good car, and also the Toyota Corolla Cross you've got to throw in there. It's also an exceptionally good car.
Yeah, and once again, I hate to admit this, I have to agree with you. I love the CX-3.
Yeah, great cars.
Twice. No, this got to stop. We'll be taking a short break, but when we return, we examine a Suzuki with a blinking warning light.
And we explore dual clutch transmissions from BMW, Audi, and Mercedes-Benz. Welcome back to Buyer's Guide. Mceba bought a Suzuki in 2022 for 50,000 Rand. But after a break-in attempt, the car wouldn't start and a warning light appeared. A workshop diagnosed a faulty cam angle sensor, but replacing it didn't work. Mceba is considering sending the car to Suzuki agents, but is concerned about the high costs. Is this a viable option, or are there alternatives? Look, you can send it to Suzuki for checking up. They'll give you an estimate to repair it. There'll be a cost, of course, for somebody to go in and check the vehicle, see what the costs involved, but you'll get it fixed. But you mentioned the car was broken into, so it's unlikely that there's something wrong with the engine.
Yes.
It's more than likely something to do with the key. So if they damaged, when they broke in the car, the ignition lock or the door lock, they may have damaged the actual transponder that works, is basically the immobilizer in the car. There's a little ring that fits around the ignition lock where you put the key in. It's a receiver for the key, and if they've damaged that, then you're going to have, you'll never be able to start the car. So, but the previous place, did they guess a cam angle sensor, or did they run a diagnostic?
Yeah, because
Can I throw something in there as well?
Please do.
Often when it comes to dashboard or Christmas tree lights on the dashboard, one of the first things, and I'm not a technical person, is I open the bonnet and I look for little paw prints.
yes, for little
Rats.
rats that have eaten everything.
Yes, and if that is the case, you can then fault find, follow the wiring harness,
yes, follow the harness.
and there could be something being chewed.
Yeah, but
So have a look under the bonnet, and it's
You see poop.
poop.
Rat
Yeah,
poop.
rat
It
poop.
stinks.
I mean, I've also seen dog pellets sitting in the
yes.
well of
Well,
of the injectors.
yes.
So have a look at that. That might help.
especially for people who don't drive their cars a lot.
Yes.
And you know, you mentioned that before I came to the studio this morning, I've just finished fixing a Jaguar XKR. Now we know that Jags, those kinds of cars don't get driven a lot. It's only got 40-odd thousand kilometers on it. What did we find?
Rats.
Rats chewed through a wiring harness like this.
Yes.
Chewed all the wires, so all the ABS lights, and it was like a
right.
Christmas tree inside.
that.
So we've been sitting there for the last day or so fixing wiring. So also, if you see any rat poop or whatever, you can get spray, and you can spray it all over the engine, everything, it chases the rats away, apparently.
Yeah, but you know,
but that's
although
one option. Mike,
he-
it's great advice.
he did say attempted break-in and damage the door lock, but then he says the car eventually refused to start. So Mike's probably right. So it was starting after the break-in,
Yeah.
but you're absolutely right. It's probably the rats that have chewed through the harness.
Check that out, but also,
Yes.
like the question was, should you send it to Suzuki, to a main dealer? There's nothing wrong with sending your car to a main dealer to get checked out. They'll give you an indication of cost. If you don't accept the quote, let's say they tell you it's 20,000 Rand, and you say, I can't afford it, I've got to go
You
somewhere
just
else.
pay them for the check.
You're going to pay them for the check. Like you went to a doctor and you want a consultation, he tells you your leg's broken, you don't want to fix it, that's not the doctor's fault, is it?
Can I just also...
Did you have to
Suzuki
compare
are-
doctors to us? Yes.
Suzuki are relatively affordable on their service maintenance costs.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get ripped off totally when you go there.
Depends on
Depends
what
on
it
the
is,
dealership.
Yeah, but
Okay.
overall, they
Yeah.
are known
No,
to
they-
be
it's a
very
affordable
reasonable
car.
on- Yeah, correct.
With affordable repairs.
And finally, Sarel wants to know about the dual clutch gearboxes that have been flagged as problematic in Audi vehicles. He wants to know if this issue is specific to Audi or if it also affects other vehicles in the VAG group. Additionally, Sarel is interested in understanding whether BMW and Mercedes-Benz are more reliable when it comes to dual clutch gearboxes or not. You know, before you guys go on, I wanted to mention, you know, the Porsche has got the same kind of gearbox. But you-
PDK.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is, stands for something German, I don't know what
yeah,
it is.
it's a dual Kloppelar or whatever. But it's got nearly the same gearbox, but it doesn't have the problem. So it's the same group of companies, if I may be so bold as to say that.
I think there's a conspiracy.
The VW Audis, they do have this problem. with
Yes,
the
they have the
DCT
problem.
gearboxes.
Yes.
But in terms of Mercedes and BMW, I can't say that I have too many problems with. Look, any gearbox and any car can fail. I'm sure, Mike, you have that at the dealership as well.
Yeah.
But in terms of the Mercedes and the BMW DCT gearboxes, and that's something we're seeing in all the Chinese vehicles now. So
Those are incredible, and
Yes.
they're almost bulletproof. And I agree with you. I don't know why Audis are
Audi and VW, yes.
are particularly problematic if you consider Porsche.
yeah,
If you
It's-
consider Porsches in the same
Yeah.
same group of companies, because
I think
I've
it's
never heard of a
No.
PDK gearbox failing. I haven't.
It's tough as nails.
Yes.
So to answer your question, simply what we're going to say is, look, they're not as problematic as the other VAG group vehicles. So if you're concerned about it, don't be too concerned. I mean, it's like potluck. You can buy any car that the gearbox can fail.
But if he's concerned about it, don't buy an
if
Audi
you're
or
buying-
VW with a DSG gearbox.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
It's not when. It's not. What is it? It's not. It's,
It's
not
not
if.
if,
when.
it's when.
There we go.
Yeah.
But am I correct in also saying that dual clutch gearboxes generally, if they need maintenance, would be more expensive than, for example, a torque converter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Unfortunately, we've come to the end of another episode. Thanks, guys, for watching. Mike and Alan, it's been great. Real pleasure having you guys here again. And thanks for your input as usual.
Thank you
and
guys for
helpful
joining us.
insight.
Thank you very much. Until next time, remember to keep left, pass right, and please keep it safe on the road.